No Film School's coverage of NAB 2017 is brought to you by Blackmagic Design, amazing solutions for film, post-production, and television. Vimeo, the new home for 360 video. Learn more at vimeo.com/360. And My Rode Reel, presented by Rode Microphones, back with more categories, more chances to win, and over $500,000 worth of prizes.
Hey, I'm Micah with No Film School. We are here with Bob at Blackmagic, and he's going to sort of introduce a little bit of the history of DaVinci at NAB.
Hi, so this year DaVinci Resolve 14 is our largest update ever, which seems impossible given the updates we've had over the years. So 2010 was the year, the first NAB for Blackmagic and DaVinci. And since then, we've had a number of upgrades, but this one really is the largest one we've done. We've completely redone the engine of it, so now we have 10 times speed performance, which is amazing. Some great new tools on the editing side, color tools also, but then the big news was that we added Fairlight, so now you have editing, color grading, and audio all in the same one. And with the new collaboration tools, you're able to share projects with multiple users, doing multiple things in it, and share timelines and things like that, and review it with a chat feature and whatever. But also, we've reduced the price. So the full Resolve Studio was $995. It's now $299. And the beta software is released today, so people can try it right away. The Fairlight audio engine is in the free version too, so if you want to give it a try first. And really, it's just one of our biggest updates ever. If you have an existing dongle, you can upgrade to the new version. No problem, keep the dongle. But if you buy a new version today, then we will start to ship it with a key, a software key rather than the dongle. So that'll be good too.
Right on. Now we're going to go into doing a bit of a demo of some of the new features in DaVinci Resolve 14 here at NAB 2017. All right, I'm here with Paul with Blackmagic. He's going to show us a lot of the new features of DaVinci Resolve 14, including a lot of new audio features. That's the big announcement this year. How's it going, Paul?
It's great. It's awesome. We are so excited about DaVinci Resolve 14. As you may have heard, we've dramatically improved performance. It's up to 10 times faster. So I'm just going to start by showing you some of that right away.
Yeah.
So we jump into the timeline here, and the first thing you notice is with scrubbing, it's just really smooth and very fluid. When I tap my J, K, and L keys, playback is instantaneous. In fact, it even starts playing back before I finish lifting my finger off the key.
Is that full resolution?
Yeah, this is full resolution. This project is an HD project. It's equally as fast in 4K if you're doing ProRes and stuff like that. So this is some H.264, and this is typically a really difficult format to work with. It's not designed for editing, and it's very processor intensive. DaVinci Resolve 14, now we've got 4 streams of H.264 playing in real time in the timeline. I can play backward, I can play forward, and you can see that it all just plays. I can build from 1 stream to 4. So the performance improvement is significant. I'm on a current iMac here, but if you're using an older laptop, you could even be editing H.264 on a laptop now. So that's a big change for DaVinci Resolve, and we think a lot of people are going to love the performance improvement. There's a lot of really great smaller features, like we can now open bins in their own windows. So you can have as many windows open as you want. This is a new thing as well, and you can save your workspace. When you open all those windows and you set everything up, you can save your own workspace layouts. So that's really cool and helpful for people that are working. Now, on this clip that I've got loaded here in my viewer, you can notice whenever I hover over the video, you get new icons that pop up on the bottom of the screen here.
Okay, yeah.
And these let you very quickly edit audio or video only into the timeline. So if I grab the video, it's video only. So if I grab my audio, the audio now comes in as well. So just a really easy way for editors to edit audio and video separately. We've also introduced marker overlays. So I have a couple of markers on this clip, and you can see that it shows me the marker information right there. If I open the marker window and add notes, my notes go here. You also see those on screen as well. So just a really fast way to see your markers. It makes it a lot more clear and a lot more intuitive. So I'm going to go and switch to list view now. And you can see in list view, this clip that we're working on, I've added those 2 markers, and you can navigate the markers in list view. But best of all, you can actually edit the marker and its duration right into your timeline. So it's kind of like having subclips without having to make subclips. You can use markers. There's also a new undo history list in Resolve 14, so you can actually go back and step through all of your actions. So instead of having just an undo list that you can't see, now you can actually see what.
That's great. That's like the best thing about Photoshop is the history. It's like why didn't other programs do that?
Yeah, so bringing a lot of really nice, useful features for editors in here. We've got some new trim commands, slip to the playhead in and out, which are really important, especially if you're used to editing in the looping playback mode. You want to just nudge a clip and trim it really quickly. You can do that now with those commands. So we think that we've got every possible editing and trimming command in there that an editor could want. So whether you're a timeline editor, dragging and dropping, or looping, it's all in there.
Great.
We also have an effects library. Now the effects library has always been here, but it's really been for transitions and generators. With this release of DaVinci Resolve, we've now added filters. So all of the Resolve effects filters that were previously available only on the color page are now available on the edit page. So I can go to a clip here and I can just drag my Gaussian blur filter on that and it's immediately applied. If I go to the inspector, I can adjust the parameters. And of course, it's all playing back in real time. There's even some really nice painterly sorts of effects. Let's take this airplane, for example, and I'm going to go and grab one of my other Resolve effects. Let me just scroll down to find it.
Does this mean you don't have to do any rendering?
At the end, you'll want to render for your final output. Right now, we're in performance mode, and performance mode is what makes it so fast. When we render everything at 32-bit float YRGB image processing, so you always get the highest possible quality output. So you want your final to be rendered, but while we're working, it's pretty much all real time. So let's just add this abstraction filter. It's just another example of a creative filter that you can add on the edit page, and this sort of gives you this painterly effect.
For the first time.
Well, you'll see a new mixer button up here, and we can open the mixer, and if you've used Resolve before, this is a dramatically different looking mixer. This is from Fairlight. So we've integrated all of the Fairlight mixing stuff into DaVinci Resolve here. Let me go find a clip of some audio. We've also added 4-band parametric equalization to every clip on the edit page, as well as the ability to add audio effects. But for the real audio power, we would go to the Fairlight page. Now the Fairlight page is entirely new in DaVinci Resolve 14, and this basically takes all of the Fairlight audio processing technology from Fairlight and puts it into DaVinci Resolve. So you've got a full digital audio workstation built right into the app now. So you can, with a single click, switch between editing, professional color grading, and now professional audio as well. So I'm going to switch to the Fairlight page. So what you see here in the default view is the timeline, and notice that the playhead is in the exact same location here as it was on the edit page. So you can switch back and forth very quickly. On the top left, you've got your timecode counter, and you can change that to show you subframes and even samples, and you see the ruler updates accordingly. So you can actually go in and do sample level editing here. Let me show you how to do that. I'm going to open the mixer. The mixer comes out on the left. You can select tracks by selecting their channels in the mixer. So as I'm clicking on each of these, you see the track selection is changing.
Yep.
Now, I'm just going to, with that clip selected, I'm just going to make this bigger. And I'm just going to zoom in, and let's just put the playhead over the center of it here. And now as I zoom in, we can go all the way down to the individual audio sample level.
Whoa.
And I can even come in here and I can redraw the waveform if I want.
Whoa.
So this is a level of precision in audio editing that we've never seen in an editing application before, right?
Right.
This is stuff that's really reserved for high-end digital audio workstations. I can zoom back out to the waveform.
What are some of the benefits of being able to do subframe editing with sound, and also, like you said, all the way down to the sample?
So all the way down to the sample level is really helpful if you need to redraw a wave to maybe remove a click or a pop or something that's at a really finite point in time. As far as the subframe editing goes, it allows us to synchronize audio with picture even more closely than ever, because now if something is off by half a frame, maybe you got your audio separate from your video and they're not quite in sync, you now can move that audio within a frame boundary, so you're not stuck to editing in frames. You can actually slip or slide that audio at the subframe level. So it really allows you to get very perfect synchronization. So every channel strip here has built-in effects, EQ, dynamics. On a regular desktop computer, you'll probably get 50 or 60 tracks of real-time playback. And I'm going to open the EQ here. If you use the Fairlight Audio Accelerator, you get up to 1,000 tracks, which is just an insane amount.
That's insane, yeah.
It's just crazy, right? So here's the EQ. It's 6-band parametric EQ. and that's at the track level, and that's going to all be real time. The dynamics as well is going to be real time. You can use an expander or a gate, a compressor or a limiter. You can add that to every track in your project. And then there's the panner, which lets you position sound in the sound field, and we can convert any 2D sound into a 3D sound space. There's great tools here for basically doing all of your panning, whether you're mono, stereo, or in a 3D space. So we also work with audio filters. So on Resolve 14, we're compatible with VST plugins, so you can get like Waves or Isotope or one of those other vendors, and you can add plugins and then apply them to your clips. And you can also automate any changes. So if you add a plugin, or if you want to just automate a level on a fader, you can click on the automation, and there are different trim modes that we can use. You see touch latch, right? And you can enable automation on any number of parameters. So for example, if I wanted to automate the faders, I could do that, and then I could record my automation while I'm playing. We also have extensive metering, so if I go and turn on the meters, see another view pops up. There are all my meters. So you see we're metering all of our channels and our main mix. We don't have any submixes in this project, so maybe I'll actually add a submix to show you how easy it is to do that. Let me just get to a good frame. The other thing is the video can be popped out, and you can place it anywhere you want on the screen. You can resize it, or you can just leave it tucked in the corner there. So let's go to the Fairlight menu, and we're going to just create a new bus. Let's say we have two deliverables here. We need a stereo deliverable, and we also need a 5.1 deliverable.
Okay.
So I'm going to create a sub bus for that 5.1 deliverable, and we're going to name this, I don't know, just film or something. And we'll give it a color, so it gets a color in our mixer. Now I've created a bus. The next step is to assign tracks to play through that bus. So I go to bus assign, I select film, nothing has been assigned to it. This is really great if you wanted to do like multilingual work. You can create different submixes with the English, the French, the German languages, and then all your sound effects for music. In this case, I'm just going to select all of it, and we're going to save that. When I do, you see that new bus appears right here in the meters, and you can see the sound that we've selected is now being routed through it and played through it.
So you can create a whole alternate version of the mix or any of the effects or any of the EQ.
Yep. We also do automatic fold-ups and fold-downs between different sound formats. So stereo to 5.1, 7.1 to stereo back, we automatically do the right thing for converting between those sound spaces.
Oh, wow.
We also support up to 16 different sets of external speakers for monitoring. So you can have, a 5.1 set of speakers set up. You can have a stereo set of speakers set up. You can have, a 22.2 set of speakers set up if you've got doing a cinematic deployment or something.
Yeah, hardcore.
It's pretty hardcore. And the levels are just adjusted here. You can mute, you can dim, but it's just pretty cool that you've got all of this power here to drive this many sets of speakers, this many channels, this kind of real-time performance with low latency. We also do recording. So for recording, we can record 96 tracks or channels at the same time as we're playing back 150. So you can record 96, play back 150 plus your video. So this would be used in like a professional studio if you're recording a symphony orchestra playing along with a film or a television show or something.
Right.
You can actually be doing this all live and mixing it in real time.
Yeah, what kind of plugin support do you have currently, and do you have plans to do more? Or where are you at with that?
So currently, the public beta has support for VST plugins. So Isotope and Waves are great examples of awesome plugins. On the Mac, we'll be having audio unit support as well. It's not in the public beta yet, but we're going to get it in there. It's planned for the release of the software. So here's a clip in our piece, and I'm going to go to the color page. And this is, again, the greatest thing. Like, you're one click away from editing, color, audio. It's just all in one application. You're not importing or exporting. You don't have to, translate with another app. So I'm just on the color page now, and I'm going to go find the Resolve effect for face refinement. The face refinement tool, I'm going to drop it onto that node. And I'm going to hit Shift F. This is a really cool keyboard shortcut because it lets me focus on the image and still see all my parameter settings. So it gets everything else out of the way for me. Really cool. I'm going to click on Analyze. And what it's doing now is it's automatically locating his eyes, his eyebrows, his nose, his chin, and it's tracking all of that across the entire clip. So typically, if you want to work on somebody's face, you have to manually select or rotoscope the areas of the face that you want to work on. Well, with Resolve 14, you now get this great tool that does it for you. So now I can go in, I'm going to turn the overlay off. This is the mask it created. You can refine the mask if you want. I can just dial the sliders for smoothing. So this is the original shot. I can smooth his skin, make it really smooth or not. I can also decide the size of the details I want to retain and how much of those details, original details, I want to retain. So you can do some really subtle mixing here. So you can just smooth a little bit just to clean it up, or you can go whole hog and make it crazy. There's
just fix a little bit of the skin tone somewhere.
Yeah, so we have color grading here as well. So we can go and we can look on, fix our midtones or maybe just boost the color slightly. You can even adjust the tint if you want to make him, look a little more natural. We can dull some of that shine.
How does this work with multiple faces in the same frame?
So it works best when you're obviously on a single face. If you're going to work on multiple faces, what I would do is I would create what's called a power window to separate those faces, and then run the face refinement tool on each one separately. So here you see we just did a little color grading. We've also got eye retouching, so I can go ahead and I can sharpen his eyes if I want. You can even brighten the eyes, so the whites of the eyes can be brightened. We'll just do that a little, be subtle. And you can lighten the whole eye area. You can do eye bag removal, which just smooths out the area under the eyes. You can do, lip retouching if you want to add more color or less color in the lips. There's blush, there's forehead retouching, cheek retouching, chin retouching.
So I can be a supermodel, is what you're saying. I can be...
You too can be a supermodel. It's pretty cool. So here's our before and after. So this is the before. I don't know that I've really done anything to make him look better. Right. So we also have a new warper, which lets us do some really cool things. So I'm going to just play this original clip here. Let's say that we wanted to make the mountains a little more ominous, larger in this shot. Well, it's really easy to do in Resolve 14. So I'm going to go back to the beginning of the clip. I'm going to go look for my warper. There it is. Grab the warper. I'm going to drop it on. So now I'm going to just click some points where I want to warp the image. And you can see that as I'm warping the image, I'm making the mountain higher, but I'm also deforming the trees and everything else. So a couple of shift clicks let me define areas that I can protect in the image. So I'm going to move this here. I'm going to just adjust these slightly. So now everything below the red dots is not being warped, and everything above the red dots is being warped. So now when I play this back, you can see we've made the mountain peak much taller, and the trees are not being affected.
Yeah, that's crazy.
It's really cool. And here's the original.
Yeah.
So before and after.
Whoa.
So pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, that's gnarly. That's badass.
So in addition to all of the smaller tools that we've added, and the performance and the audio tools, we've also added a whole suite of collaboration tools. So this lets multiple users, multiple editors, colorists, sound engineers, and all of their assistants all work on the same project at the same time. So I'm not on a network here, so I can't demonstrate all of the features, but basically the three big features that we've added for this are bin locking, so users can lock a bin so that nobody else can sort of step on their work. Timelines can be locked as well, so one editor owns a timeline and other people can look inside of it, they can copy and paste things out of it. Same thing with bins, I can look inside of a bin and use the media, but I can't change or delete it while somebody else is working on it. So bin locking just protects each user each user's work from being overstepped by somebody else. The other thing that we've added is built-in chat. So there is a chat client that's built into Resolve. It shows up in the lower right corner of the screen, and it lets me do secure messaging with other people on the project. So I can send a message to my assistant, hey, can you create me a bin with today's dailies? And then they would create the bin, I would see it update in my bin list, and I'd be able to start editing with it. The other thing that we've added is a timeline comparison tool. And I have two different timelines here. So I'm going to compare the timeline I'm currently working on with this one I just selected in my bin. And what this brings up is a graphical interface that shows me the two timelines. So the bottom is my current timeline, and the top one, which is playing back in the left viewer, is the new timeline. So I can go in and you can look at the index, which shows you the changes, where they are. You can select each change. I can see that the new one deleted these 4 clips, so I can accept those changes, and now my timeline will have those clips deleted.
That's cool.
So when you're working on a team, you can dupe a timeline and send it to your sound editor or send it to an assistant editor and say, hey, work on this part of the project for me, and then when you come back, you can merge those differences together into the final timeline.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's something I kind of just keep track in my head when I'm editing, but it's cool to have a visual component of that included right in your NLE.
So that's a quick tour through some of the new features. It's an exciting release. It's our biggest release ever.
All right, well, you heard it here first. DaVinci Resolve 14, all kinds of new features. Fairlight audio, awesome new color features, collaboration tools, 10 times faster, way cheaper, no more dongles. What more can you ask for? NAB 2017.